Hi, I'm Brad Knowles, producer of Friday Night Flies, hosted by Scott LeBoldis and Scotty Holmes. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, Zach here for another edition of Friday Night Flies. So this week, I'm doing a take on the Moto Minnow. Seems like everybody's got their own version on Friday Night Flies, so I figured what the hell, I'm going to do up one myself. So I came with this color combination because Jordan and I have been planning a trip up to, well, not really going to say where, but up to the rivers to fish for some Chinook salmon. And they really like the green and blue combination for whatever reason. So I tied up a whole bunch of these. And funny story, we were about halfway up to the river, and I realized, oh crap, I left all my flies at home. So luckily for once, Jordan was over-prepared. He brought like 3 boxes of flies. We had enough to go around. Didn't touch any, probably because I didn't have this one with me. If we did, I'm sure we would have caught one. A little frustrating, but you know, it happens. So this is my take on the Moto Minnow, meant for the Chinook salmon. It's a pretty deadly little pattern. And let's head on down and get going on this one. Alright guys, so there it is, the Chinook Salmon Moto Minnow. So as you can see, it's got the greens and the blues. I did a couple different color combinations with these colors. This one definitely looks the best, and it pops quite well. I'm sure this will work for the coho, and the chum, and stuff like that as well. So definitely experiment with this pattern. It's very versatile. It's easy to tie. Just throw them together and see what happens. It's this one looks pretty cool. So let's pop that out. So like I said, we're out targeting Chinooks, or kings, or springs, whatever you want to call them. They are big fish. So for a hook, I got a TMC 93-95 size 4. You can definitely go bigger if you want, or smaller. It's all up to you. And for the head, I'm using a chartreuse cone head in a medium size. You can definitely go a large as well if you want, but I'm gonna knock this guy, make it a little heavier with some lead wire, 0.025. You can use whatever you like. There's tons of different ones out of there. So this is gonna help to seat the bead as well. Maybe 10 or 15 wraps. Something like so. We're just going to jam that into the front there. And you can even wrap up. Just add a little bit of extra weight on there. Kind of just twist and bend that until it wants to come off, which it doesn't seem to want to. There we go. Perfect. So now she's pretty weighted up front. Now I'm going to take my thread, just some UTC 140. These big streamers, I really like to use heavier thread. So we're just going to build up a little bit of a ramp there, and that's just going to lock it down. We're going to wrap over the lead just to really secure it, and take our thread down to the back. So like I said, we got about just out here, and I live in Ladner, Jordan lives in Tsawwassen. We were on our way out. We were about almost in downtown Vancouver, and that's when I realized Jordan showed me a bunch of his flies that he tied up the night before, which were pretty cool. And I realized, damn it, I forgot all my flies at home, which kind of sucks. It happens. Luckily we managed. Waters were a little high. They should start coming down pretty soon. The pinks are going to start showing up. You've seen us tie enough of those flies, I think they'll last you a lifetime. So here I've just got some marabou in fluorescent chartreuse. So like I said, the green and blue flies seem to work really well for the springs. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure those tips. A little bit longer than that, about the length of the body. Try to secure those in right on top. Well, that's a little sparse, so I'm going to add a little bit more. It goes heavy or as light as you like on the tail, that's all up to you. I like them to be fairly bushy. Marabou's going to move quite well. Just stack that right on top. Lock it down. Yeah, so we're struggling to find some spots. Scott told us of a couple, and then we weren't having any luck because all the water was pretty high. So We popped into Spud there and saw Brad, and he hooked us up with some secret spots and sold us some of the original Moto Minnows in the white variation, which is just a deadly pattern. They swim so well. So if you're ever in town, look them up. Go pop in. They'll set you up with the right gear to get you in the right areas too. So just gonna trim that away just before the lead, just to help kind of keep that profile how I want it. There we go. Take my thread back down. You know what? I'm going to tie in this last little bit here. Might as well just use the whole thing. I already started this one. Sometimes I'll use up the whole feather, sometimes I won't. Is all right there. There we go. Just trim that kind of tight there. There we go. Yeah, we'll wind that all down. Oh, the joys of tying live. You never know. Alright, so I'm not too worried about all these fuzzies. You can kind of trim them up if you want. We're going to cover that all up with some dubbing. So don't stress about it. Now, I just want a little bit of flash in the tail. So I got some pearl blue crystal flash. Hopefully you can see that there. Pretty sweet color. I'd call it a Chinook color if I ever did see one. I'm just going to take one strand here. I want two strands going off the tail, so I'm just going to cut it away. I'm going to fold it over. Trim it again. This is going to be pretty much the same length as the tail. Like I said, two strands on my side, fold it over. Two strands on your side. I might just kind of separate them a little bit, like so. That's going to do the job. Now I've just got a silver Dr. Blue saddle hackle here. So you know what? I'm going to go that one there. Nice and long. So I'm just going to grab by the tip with the nice side facing me. I'm going to stroke all those fibers down. I'm going to tie that in. Don't worry about cutting the tip. We can cover that up just with a couple wraps. Just helps to build up a little bit of bulk in that body. Just wind that back down. Throw that saddle in my Mongoose's material clip there. Now I'm going to create a dubbing loop. So I'm going to pull the thread out, put my finger on top, pull it up, two wraps over, two wraps around, and wind back just to lock that guy in place. I'm going to take my thread all the way forward to the bead. And I've got one of these ball bearing dubbing spinners. This is great for stuff like this, makes quick and easy work. So I'm just going to throw a little whip finish here. And pull that bobbin holder around. Just as Mongoose has all of the bells and whistles. And for the body material, I'm just going to use some ice dub and UV pearl. And I'm going to go fairly sparse on the loops. So I'm going to take out a clump. Just take out a small clump like so. Throw that in the loop. Take another small clump. Throw it in the loop. And another. I think I can squeeze one more in there. And just kind of spread it out a little bit. Like I said, you want it to be fairly sparse. So I got a loop kind of like that. I don't know if you can see all that. So that's maybe 4 or 5 inches. And all I'm going to do is spin this up. Nice and tight. Like so. So now we got a nice tight cord. And all I'm going to do is use the rotary on my vise to wrap that up. Just kind of touch and turns, building up a bit of bulk. It's okay if some of the colors are coming through. Not the end of the world. You know what? I'm going to need a little bit more. So I really want to jam it up into the bead there. So this I'm just going to dub on. Sometimes you go a little short. It happens. Continue to use that rotary. You really want to jam this dubbing behind the bead. So if we don't, that bead comes loose. It kind of rattles back and forth and your fly starts to fall apart. So let's move that out of the way. Lock that down. 2 behind, 2 in front. Trim that away. You know what? I really don't mind that it's a big heaping mess right now. Not the end of the world. So now I'm going to take the saddle. I'm going to take a full turn at the back. Nice open spiral turns. As many or as few as you like. That's all up to you. And at this point, I would call that a Chinook woolly bugger. And fold that all back. Kind of back wrap on it a little bit. Just to really secure all that. You could fish that just like that if you wanted to. But the fun thing about the Moto is the Mallard Flank. So I just got some Superfly Mallard Flank and Chartreuse here. I'm going to find one that's a little bit longer in length. Maybe something like that, just so it reaches roughly to where the tail is. I'm just going to tie it in by the tip. Grab that tip and trim it away. And all I'm going to do is preen these fibers back. One turn in front of the other. So I'm only going to get about 2 turns on this guy. You know, it looks just like a giant mess right now, but not the end of the world. Really lock that down at the cone. Trim away that stem. Just like Brad likes to do, I like to leave just a little nub there. And that just allows me to be able to wrap right on top of it. Really secure it in. That's not going anywhere. What I'm going to do now, just take my popsicle stick with some Velcro and kind of fluff out that body a little bit. You can do this before you put the mallard on as well. I just forgot. Just really rough it up, work it into the saddle. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little bit of shimmer coming through the body now. Just adds a little bit of bulk. Just going to stroke all that mallard back. Alright, so that's starting to take shape. Now to finish this off, I just got this stuff, the Diamond Dove from Superfly in holographic purple. This is an amazing color. I can't wait to throw this into some steelhead flies and more salmon patterns. It's got a lot of sparkle to it. It's got an awesome color. So this I'm just going to wrap on right behind the bead, create a nice dubbing collar. This really helps to secure that bead as well as push back that mallard. I'm just going to keep going here because I'm going to pick this all out. So it's pretty bushy, looks a little outrageous. Now I'm just going to do a whip finish. Maybe one more. Alright. I don't know how that's looking on your side. There we go. So you could take a chartreuse Sharpie as well and color that thread up. And that way you don't really see it. But using white, it's going to go invisible. Now I'm just going to pick out some of these fibers and create a nice little collar. So there you go. The Chinook Moto. I think it's a pretty deadly pattern. It's definitely going to catch some fish. I wish I would have remembered to bring it. So if you got springs in your area, definitely tie some up and give them a go. So let's head on up and sign out. Alright guys, so you have it. My Chinook Moto, like I said, should work pretty damn good for coho as well. Yeah, so definitely pop into Spud Valley. I know they got some of the originals, the all white, which is a pretty deadly pattern, catches a lot of fish. Yeah, definitely give them a go, experiment, play with the colors. I love how the green and the blue all kind of melt together and it looks pretty killer. Like I said, wish I was going to test it on Wednesday, but just totally forgot my box at home. So never pack your flies the first thing. That should be the first thing that you pack up. So hope you guys enjoyed. That's it for me this week, just the one fly. Not sure if the boys have anything planned yet or not. We'll find out on Friday. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week.